If Suzuki talented but bland-looking gsx-s got invited to an 80s-themed fancy dress party, this is what it would end up going as. The 2019 Katana is essentially a GSX-1000 with a different body kit, uprated brakes, posh clocks, one-piece handlebars, and a 1,000 pounds price increase. Underneath the plastics is the same huge alloy chassis, same enormous swing arm and suspension, all either borrowed or closely resembling those fitted to 2005 GSX R 1000. Likewise, the engine is essentially a 2005 GSX R unit, retuned with different cam profiles for more mid-range and a little less top-end power and cleaner burning to meet the latest emissions regs. The Katana keeps the good bits of the GSX, fixes a few of the niggles and introduces some new challenges. Motorcycling is a funny place. Many riders will tell you that Suzuki's 2005 GSX R 1000 K5 model was some kind of high point in sports bike technology. That brawny, torquey, long-stroke engine was brilliant on the road and dominant on the track. Suzuki's fuel injection has always been good. Likewise, their gearboxes, handling, and the factory has usually managed a choice of suspension settings that manage road holding and ride quality in equal measures. When Suzuki announced that the reborn for 2019 Katana was going to be based on the current GSX 1000S, we should have been drooling. The GSX is a street bike based largely on the 2005 GSX R with most of the performance and most of the handling, but built into a more upright rider-friendly package. The problem is that things have moved on a long way since 2005. These days you can buy adventure bikes making 170 bhp. Fuel injection and ignition technology has come on a long way too, giving us engines that deliver stunning mid-range, massive top-end power and soft as pussycat commuting too. The original GSX 1000 was criticized for having slightly too sharp throttle response. Instead of uprating the ignition and fueling, Suzuki reprofiled the plastic cam in the twistgrip. The riding position is different to the GSX. The seat is further forward and slightly taller too. The GSX clip-on handlebars are replaced with a one-piece unit, and the rider sits higher and further forward with more weight over the front, and a little more leverage to help steer a bit quicker. I found it very comfortable, and didn't suffer the tingly fingers that you often get on a wet ride on a four-cylinder bike. The new clocks pay some kind of homage to the original Katana in the way the LCD tacho sweeps round the housing, but it would have been good to see a TFT display to justify the premium price. Essential info like speed, gear position, and riding mode are easy to read, but the fuel gauge and clock are very small, and the panel in the bottom right corner containing the trip and consumption info is very cluttered, and hard to sneak a quick glance at. That's a little more important on the Katana than the GSX, because you only have 12 liters of fuel. Suzuki claim an average of 53 mpg and a tank range of 138 miles. Our test ride returned about 44 mpg, which means somewhere around 120 miles to empty, which means you'll start looking for a station around 90 miles in. The Katana comes on different tires and steers much better in the wet, but there are other issues at least on standard settings. The suspension has been stiffened at the front and softened at the rear to compensate for the extra weight over the front from the revised riding position. On the wet press launch, I thought it needed more fiddling. The ride quality was very crude, harsh over small bumps, lacking control over bigger ones, and missing the consistency to give me confidence. There's a reasonable amount of adjustment at both ends, and I was looking forward to experimenting to bring the bike under control because it's a GSX 1000 underneath, and I knew they handled well. Having since had a test bike for 3 weeks, I found the settings in the dry to be still firm, but nothing like as intrusive as on the launch. I did fiddle reducing compression damping at the front and rear, but ended up not too far from the standard settings. Brake calipers are radially mounted Brembo items, similar to those on the current GSX R 1000R. There's a lovely blend of feel in the wet, power when you need it, and a foolproof feel that makes the abs almost redundant.